Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. My name is Julian, and this is the ads episode for the weekend of week 13 of the fantasy hockey season. This is the episode where I tell you guys that you should consider picking up to help you save your week if you're down by a little bit, or help you make sure that you win that week if you're already in the lead by a little bit. Before we get started, guys, though, please leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you do want to check out my merch store, you can do so at fantasytipped.com. Let's jump right into it now, guys, and let's start with the schedule for this weekend. And as you can see here, guys, on Friday, there are 6 games. On Saturday, there are 9, and on Sunday, there are 8. So unlike most weekends where Saturday is a pretty busy night, this weekend, Saturday, yeah, it's busy, but it's not so bad. There's a decent chance that you have room in your lineup on Saturday. So go ahead and check your schedule, see which days you have room on. And we're going to do, as usual, we're going to talk about guys that play Friday, Saturday, guys that play Friday, Sunday, and then guys that play Saturday and Sunday. If you do want to stream someone for Friday and Saturday games, the 2 teams that you can stream players from are Detroit and San Jose. San Jose has not played a game until Friday this week, so they're going to be well rested. The number 1 guy that I would stream from these 2 teams is Tomas Hertl of the San Jose Sharks. The dude's been really, really great ever since the beginning of the year, playing second line top power play, just putting up a lot of points. Super safe ad if somehow he's available in your league. Perron is another great ad, top line, top power play, doing very, very well. Jacob Vrana, 40% rostered. If he is healthy by the time this weekend comes around, he is an excellent ad. He's someone that definitely can put up some goals for you. Logan Couture is another great option, playing with Timo Meier on the top line, top power play, just great option overall. Michael Rasmussen is playing with Perron and with Larkin on that top line as well as top power play, and he's been doing pretty well overall. And as long as he keeps that deployment, he's an excellent ad. Then Alex Barabanov of the San Jose Sharks is playing on the top line, top power play, and has been a sneaky good player all year. Then Lucas Raymond is playing on the second line, getting a decent amount of power play time as well. It hasn't been too bad either this season. Then I have Dominic Kubalik, who seems to be doing a little bit better as of late, but he's down to the 3rd line now, and he's just not the same player as he was at the beginning of the season. He's just not performing as well, which is why I have him here at number 8. Then I have Kevin Labanc at number 9, who's been pretty decent all year long, getting a point every couple games or so, playing on the second line of San Jose. He's a decent option as well. Then Andrew Kopp is an option for guys in deeper leagues. If he is available, he does play on the second line. Hasn't been that amazing this year, but definitely could put up points in a pinch. And then Jonathan Berggren, also on the second line in Detroit, and has actually been pretty sneaky good, so could be a decent option as well if you're in a deep league. If you want players to stream for the Friday and Sunday games, the teams that you can take a look at are Anaheim, Arizona, Calgary, Chicago, Florida, Washington, and Winnipeg. These teams all play both Friday and Sunday, which are normally the off nights, but in this case, Saturday is not that busy either, so really do what you think is best for yourself and your situation. You could always do a Friday and Saturday streamer, and then also grab a guy for Sunday or a goalie for Sunday or whatever. That might be the best option for you if maybe you're in a points league. If you are grabbing a guy for Friday, Sunday, though, the number 1 guy to grab would be Carter Verhaeghe if you're in shallower league and he's available. That's a great option. Then Sam Bennett as well. Obviously, he's been a little bit colder as of late, but still a great player. Would be the second guy I would grab. Then I'd go with Nick Schmaltz if he isn't injured. I know he did get injured with a day-to-day injury, so definitely make sure to check up on that. But if he's healthy, he's the guy I would go for. Then Connor Sherry of the Washington Capitals has been playing with Ovechkin and has been playing very, very well as of late. Been putting up a lot of points. So as long as he's on that hot streak, I would snag him here. Then Lawson Krause of the Arizona Coyotes gives you a pretty safe floor with shots and with hits, and that's why I like him a lot. Despite him not getting necessarily the best deployment, he's getting you a safe floor. Then I have Max Domi, who's kind of all over the place this season. Sometimes he's really great, sometimes he's just completely non-existent. But I think that if you want to gamble on a player that can definitely blow up in a single game, Domi is that guy. Mason McTavish has been a lot better as of late, playing second line top power play, been putting up a lot of points lately. That's a lot better than he was doing earlier. That's the next guy I would take. Then I have Dylan Strome, who's playing on the second line, not the top power play though, in Washington. He's been okay all year, nothing too special, but has been a little bit better as of late. And if you need someone at this point, he's available. He's an okay ad. Dylan Dubé is someone who really heated up, and he is still playing on that top line with Tyler Toffoli, so the deployment's still there. He is cooling down a little bit now, so not my favorite option anymore, but still not a terrible option for a streamer. Then Frank Vatrano is a little bit cold as of right now, but is someone who shoots the puck a decent amount to give you a little bit of a floor there, and is still playing on that second line with Mason McTavish. Then I got Jonathan Toews, who's been also up and down a little bit all year, but he is playing second line and top power play. The deployment's there. He's a good enough player to put up points for you. It's a pretty safe option for you here. Adam Henrique is someone who's been getting some solid deployment all year.
So for some reason, the rest of that recording cut off when I recorded it, and I don't really have time to record it at home right now. So here goes me recording it where I currently am. And then we had Tyler Johnson, and he is someone who has been sneaky good for these games that he actually has played, and he's getting deployment on the top line right now with Max Domi and with Patrick Kane. If you're looking for guys to stream for Saturday and Sunday, the 5 teams that you're going to want to look at are Boston, Columbus, Minnesota, St. Louis, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The number 1 guy that you're going to want to look at is Michael Bunting of the Leafs, and he's been getting some great deployment with Matthews and with Nylander all season long. I think that's a pretty good place to go, and that's why he's my number 1 guy to grab if you do want someone for those 2 days. And Joel Eriksson, who's been excellent all year with top power play deployment as well. David Krejci, who's been fantastic all year. A little bit colder as of late, but still pretty good overall. Then Cal Yarnko, who's just been insanely hot on that line with Tavares and Nylander. He's my next guy. And then Taylor Hall of the Boston Bruins on the 3rd line right now with Coyle and with Trent Frederick, which is not the best deployment in the world, and he is a little bit cold, but he is someone that can definitely pop off at any time, so I definitely don't hate the deployment either. Then we have Robert Thomas and Braden Shen of the St. Louis Blues, and they man lines 1 and 2 respectively, and they're doing pretty good. Nothing too crazy, but overall, they're performing pretty well, putting up points pretty frequently. Then we have Kent Johnson of the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Kent Johnson has now been moved back on that top line with Gaudreau and with Laine, and for that reason, he's this high on this list. Definitely a great deployment for him. And Pavel Zacha, who's been pretty hot lately on that Czech line with Pastrnak and Krejci. Just a great deployment for him, and he has been putting up some goals and some points lately. Then Charlie Coyle plays on that 3rd line with Taylor Hall, and he's actually been pretty consistent all year long. Then Ryan Hartman plays on the line with Joel Eriksson, which is a good place to be. Sam Steele plays on that top line with Kaprizov and Zuccarello, and at any point he could break out with some points. Doesn't do a whole lot more than that though, no really peripherals, but definitely could put up points at any time. And Trent Frederick's a good, really low rostered guy option that plays on that 3rd line with Hall and with Coyle. If you're in a super deep league, he's definitely a solid option. And finally, Jack Roslovic, who's been pretty good as of late, been putting up points, but he did get just bumped down to the 2nd line now that Laine is back, and they wanted to try Kent Johnson on that top line. But Roslovic is still on the top power play, so he's definitely still got opportunities to put up points. Jumping into defensemen now, and the number 1 guy is Shane Gostisbehere, and I don't think I have to explain that to you guys. He's been on lists of mine for so long at this point. He's getting plenty of points every single night, putting up some decent peripherals lately as well. Erik Gustafsson, also a no-brainer, getting top power play time. Washington has been absolutely unreal. Dmitry Orlov, same kind of thing. He's not putting up as many points, but the peripherals have been there, and he's actually putting up points every couple games as well. Seth Jones not putting up that many points, but he is getting the opportunity to put up points, getting that top power play deployment in Chicago, and also putting up some decent peripherals with shots and with blocks. Michael Gudas is a guy who you're going to pick up only if you're in a league that has hits, because that dude hits a lot, gives you a pretty safe floor night in and out. Connor Clifton's a guy that gives you shots, hits, and blocks, a little bit of a safe floor with a little bit of everything. Adam Boquist is the top power play guy in Columbus. Hasn't done a whole lot yet in 3 games, but definitely he's got some opportunities upcoming to put up some points on that power play, especially with Patrick Laine back in the lineup. And then Nick Jensen of the Washington Capitals puts up a little bit of peripherals and also has been putting up points lately, so that's not a bad pickup if you're in a deep league. And then Jake McCabe, same kind of thing. He's the guy who puts up some decent peripherals with block shots, and occasionally he'll also put up a point. Now, if you want to stream a goalie, the number 1 guy to stream is Jeremy Swayman of the Boston Bruins. And the Bruins do have a back-to-back. And that's why if he gets the second half of that back-to-back, which he should, because Omar started Monday, and then given a rotation of goalies, Swayman should get that Sunday game against Anaheim. So a very good matchup. And Swayman has been decent when called upon this year, so he's the number 1 guy. Then Philip Gustafsson, and they also have a back-to-back set. So if he gets the second half against St. Louis, it's a pretty good streamer, and he's been pretty good when called upon. Alex Stalock is someone who's been very, very good this season, sneaky good this year. I think he'll have a good outing against Calgary if he does get that start. Karel Vejmelka against the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously not the best start in the world. The Penguins are a good team, but Vejmelka, he might let in quite a few goals, but still if you're in a points-based league, should get you a whole bunch of saves, and that should give you a pretty decent amount of points. And then Spencer Martin of the Vancouver Canucks has been significantly better as of late, and as long as he gets that start, he could be a pretty decent play. And then Thomas Greiss hasn't been that great this year. I'm a little bit disappointed in him because I did expect more from him this year. Winnipeg Jets is not the easiest matchup in the world, but they are missing a few key players, so it shouldn't be too bad of a streamer there if you want to grab him. John Gibson against Boston is a very tough matchup, but Gibson's a good goalie, and he has been really inconsistent this year, so if you want to take the chance on him, I don't think it's a terrible idea, but it's not the best option for streaming either. And then finally, Felix Sandstrom and Urson have been splitting the starts in Philadelphia. It's actually mostly been Urson, but the Flyers do have a back-to-back set Sunday and Monday. So one of these guys is going to get Sunday, one of these guys is going to get Monday. I would wait for the goalie to get confirmed before you pick him up. Jumping into the categories league section of this video now, and if you do want shots on goal to make sure that you win that category, Joel Eriksson Ek and Sam Bennett are the two best guys to grab, who shoot 3.1 times per game respectively. Frank Vetrano 2.9, Verhaeghe 2.9, Kubalik 2.8, Bemstrom 2.8, Verana 2.5, and Lundell 2.2. Now just keep in mind that Verana only has played a couple of games this season, so definitely he could be shooting more than that. It's just a very small sample size here. If you need blocks, the number one guy to grab is Jake McCabe. As I mentioned before, he's really good at blocking this season. 2.4 blocks per game, so over 2 games he should get you somewhere between 4 and 5 blocks, which is not bad. And then Jordy Ben's the next best guy to grab if he's actually playing, because he's been a healthy scratch the last couple of games that I've seen. So we'll have to wait and see, but he's pretty good and has been blocking 2.9 shots per game on average when he actually does play. Seth Jones is someone who does pretty well in block shots, 2.2, Spurgeon 2.1, Sherratt 2.1, Murphy 2.1, and Josh Brown 2.0. And then in hits, the number one guy to grab is Radko Gudas, 3.9 hits per game, Tenorti 3.7, Hathaway 3.5, McBain 3.2, Fairbury 3.2, Acharya 3.2, Reeves 3.0, and Adam Ernie 2.9. And finally, if you need face-off wins, the number one guy to grab is Jonathan Toews of the Chicago Blackhawks. Wins 12.2 face-offs per game, so over 2 games, he should win you somewhere between 24 and 25 face-offs, which is absolutely fantastic if you need to catch up on that category. Hurdle 9.6 face-offs, Eriksson Ek 8.9, Robert Thomas 8.9, Backlund 8.8, Couture 8.3, Corrali 8.2, David Camp 7.3, Bukestad 7.3, and Domi 7.2. And those last 2 guys also have wing eligibility. So if you need someone to win faceoffs for you, but you don't have any room at center, those are guys that you definitely can consider.
And that is all the content I wanted to cover for today, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Additionally, I want to wish everybody a safe and happy new year, and I hope everything that you wish for comes true, and I hope that you win your fantasy hockey championship this year. Take care, guys, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.